Okay, this is cause 2020-0D04480, the state of Texas versus Carlos Martinez. Present in court with his attorney, Ms. Hall, state's attorney, Ms. Ritchie. And is your true and correct name Carlos Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Your date of birth 5/27 of 1963.
That's correct.
And you recognize your attorney, Ms. Hall, here?
Yes, yes, sir.
Hall, you recognize your Mr. Martinez?
I do, Judge.
All right. Now, let's see. If you'd state the plea agreement, then Ms. Ritchie, on the record.
Yes, Your Honor, it is to remain a third degree, and it will be 10 years TDC probated for 2 years. $1,000 fine, 500 of that probated, 100 hours community service, DWI court, DWI reoffender school, victim impact panel, urine and breath testing, curfew, the 10 days ACOP, interlock, and all other terms and conditions recommended by the court or adult probation.
All right. Now, is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Ms. Hall?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it also your understanding of the plea agreement, then, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, we have in front of us, well, first of all, do you understand the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw the plea, you could proceed, and we could proceed to trial at a later date. But if I follow the plea agreement, it is final. You cannot appeal the case. You cannot withdraw your plea without my consent. You would begin serving that probation immediately. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as part of that probation, you have to serve those 10 days, and you are going to go ahead and serve those 10 days starting today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit 1, the guilty plea and waiver forms in this case. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you read them before you signed them?
I will read them down. I didn't read it.
Okay. You read them or had them read to you? Now, did you understand what your attorney was telling you and what you were reading?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question about the meaning of the documents?
No, sir.
Okay, so that there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense. Secondly, you're telling me you understand you're giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights is the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. Do you fully understand that?
Yes, sir.
Understanding that, how do you plead then to this indictment, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Enter your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily.
Voluntary.
Nobody forced you, threatened you, coerced you in any way.
No, by myself.
Nobody promised you anything additional.
No, sir.
And you understand the sentence has to be not less than 2 years, nor more than 10 years in prison, a fine not to exceed $10,000. But instead of putting you in prison, I can place you on probation for any number of years, not less than 2, nor more than 10. You understand I've got to sentence you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, sir.
You are a U.S. citizen.
Yes, sir.
And how old are you, sir?
58.
And how far have you gone in school?
High school, graduated, 12th grade.
Okay. And you can certainly read and write the English language.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health or mental illness issues?
No, sir, never.
Suffered any serious head injuries?
No, sir, never.
And you're telling me you are mentally competent, you understand everything that's going on this afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, you've had time to go over the facts, circumstances of the case, the legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing to me that you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then based on your representation, Ms. Hall, your representation, Mr. Martinez, the court's observations of you in court both here today and prior occasions, I find that you are competent to enter this plea. State may summarize the evidence.
Yes, yes, Your Honor, had the state proceeded to trial in this case, we would have proven each and every element listed in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay. Then based on any objection to that evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, based on the evidence, then I find the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty, and I find him guilty of the felony offense of DWI third or more. And I'm ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. Now, I believe, was it you are divorced presently, or you married? What is your status there?
Married?
What?
Married?
Okay. And do you have any children?
I got a 15 years old girl, my daughter.
And are you supporting her, or?
Yeah, me, my wife.
Okay. Now, once you get out, what are your plans?
I was trying to find a job and get my life back again straight.
What kind of job were you working at?
I was working on a golf course, landscaping.
Okay. So you think you can get your job or a job back doing that?
I'll try, yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Now, one of the main things I want you to do is to get this DWI court. It's very good. And they will help you. They'll help your family in terms of, coping with the alcohol issue that's probably been a problem for you for a number of years. And we'll get to the bottom of it. And if you work hard in the DWI court, it'll really help you that you won't ever get involved in anything like this again.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Because obviously if it happens again, or I won't have any choice but to put you in prison. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will follow the recommendation, 2 years probation, and, do that DWI court, serve those 10 days, get back out, help your family, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me step off for just a second.
You think it's okay for me to leave?
All right. Let's see if we can continue on here. It's Jason Rios is our next one with Ms. Pages.
Judge, I believe his mom was gonna be signing on. I don't know if she's in the waiting room.
I will have to find out. Is there someone in the waiting room for Mr. Rios?
Is that Miss Hobbs?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, because I didn't know who she was, so I wrote to her, but I guess she couldn't read it. But yes, she's in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Well, did you want to let her in now then? We can do that?
If you'd like, Judge, I just had her attend in case you had any issues or any.
Any questions? All right. Well, let's begin with, let's see, the bond is presently, this is a bond hearing, as I understand it. And what is the bond presently set at?
Judge, I believe it is at 25,000 cash surety. He originally had a PR bond and that was revoked because he did pick up 2 misdemeanor cases. And so it is at 25,000.
Okay.
Okay, now, let's see. Miss Ritchie, what's going on in this case? This is,
Yes, Judge, I believe we talked about this not too long
oh,
ago.
we did. We just did the judge's pretrial this week on it. Yeah, I've got it here. It was, the complaining witness was expecting somebody to do some work. And so she left the garage door open. The defendant entered, took a toolkit, drove by, later comes back, drives by, starts yelling at the complaining witness. The defendant really has no criminal history. It's originally from Lubbock or somewhere. Then he went to Colorado, and then he's come here. He's had some mental health issues, I think you indicated, Ms. Pages.
Yes, Judge.
His father's in the military, but stationed in El Paso. And his mother's trying to help make some restitution and things like that.
Right, Judge. And I do have additional information to help you with this bond hearing.
Okay, what new information do you have that since the pretrial conference?
Yes, Judge. So my client is 20 years old. He is currently on an antipsychotic medication. I'm going to go ahead and spell it. It's ZYREXA, and that's used to treat schizophrenia. He does, in fact, suffer from schizophrenia, Judge, and I have reviewed most of the videos in this case, and it's pretty clear that he is under some sort of mental health episode when this is taking place, Judge. And I've been in communication with his mother. He does have a support system in place. His mother just recently got hired with Amazon. And let me look at my email really quick. Okay, let's see here. She's indicated that at the time of this, she does believe that he was not taking his medications. Usually he does take Buspar, Olanzapine, and Zoloft is what she's indicated. She's added her son to her insurance, and it became effective June 28th, and that's to help him with any medical expenses that he may have. She's also working with her husband in trying to get him coverage with TRICARE, which I guess is the military insurance, and may also be seeking a disability for him based on his mental health, Judge. Would be fighting with his parents. There's no relationship with the complainant at all, so there shouldn't be any issue with that. Let's see what else she's indicated. She did want to attend as part of the program.
Okay, well, I'm going to let her in just a second. What are these two new offenses? What were they? Ms. Ritchie or Ms. Pages? What are they?
One was a burglary of vehicle, Judge, and then the other one was a criminal mischief. They both occurred on the same day,
When?
May 24th, so just a couple days after this incident.
Yeah, the original was May 17th. Did he actually get bonded out and then these offenses occurred, or did he get did those other offenses occur and then they got picked up later?
No, Judge, I think according to the affidavit from the PR, I believe he was given a PR bond on the felony, and then he subsequently picked up the misdemeanors, and that's what triggered the violation of his
This
PR.
was all during the time when he was going through psychotic episodes or something?
I do believe so, Judge, because even in the criminal mischief, there's a video of that, and I've watched that, and also his demeanor in that. I think it's pretty clear that he is going through some sort of mental health episode or basically not on his medications.
All right, I think at some point, have you talked to the complainants yet? I know we talked earlier that you might. I don't know if you had a chance to yet, Ms. Ritchie.
Judge, that contact hasn't been made yet. We haven't been successful. I'm not sure what the holdup is there.
Okay, well, one of the, position on the bond at all, Ms. Ritchie?
I would request at least a couple more days to get into contact with the complaining witness to just kind of see where she's at. And maybe explain to her that some of what occurred might have been mental health related and see how she feels. I am a little just concerned based on the proximity of their residences to each other and the fact that he
Well,
does.
obviously, a condition of the bond will be that he not even go on that street. What is the street?
I believe it was Almond Beach.
What?
Almond Beach?
Okay, that'll be a condition of the bond. Do you understand that, Mr. Rios, that you not even go on that street?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Okay,
But then I don't believe that the complainant, I'm trying to get some text messages that I have, but I wasn't able to, for some reason, open them. But I want to say that she no longer resides there. I
oh,
believe that she moved.
okay, well, then he wouldn't even know where she was, so I don't want to give him, that information, obviously. Let's have his mother come on. I want to see what she says real quick. Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right, and Ms. Hobbs? Oh, you're on mute, I think.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, you are, I believe, Mr. Rios's mother?
Yes, I'm his mother.
Okay, and we're trying to determine what to do on this bond.
Yes, sir.
We had the issue, a couple of incidents that occurred in late May of this year, which have now resulted in his incarceration. He's going to reside with you, is that right?
Yeah, that's the plan. Jason's typically resided with me, and we were residing about 10 blocks from one another, trying to help him develop his life skills, gain independence, but there so I can help assist with his care and things like that. But yeah, he would be with me.
Okay, yeah, so we're not going to do him separated from you right now. Now, I think your husband's in the military?
Yes, sir, he is. He's active duty.
He's active duty. So the two of you are going to live in this one home and he'll stay with the two of you?
Yeah, I'm willing to support Jason, whatever this looks like. I have some flexibility with my job. Ideally, long-term goal for me personally is to get back to Colorado. And I understand, given the situation that Jason's in, that he'll need to prioritize this. So his apartment, again, it's paved up. I feel like that'd probably be best, but I'm absolutely open to supporting whatever recommendations the court has.
Yeah, I would not want him right at the moment living on his own.
Yes, understood.
I would want him as a condition of that bond, not, to live with you and your husband. I think that's the better option until we resolve the case.
Okay.
And I don't want him going by that street where this happened.
Yeah, understood. We've since sold that home, Your Honor. So the residence that I've maintained is the apartment on George Theater, where Jason and I are both on that lease.
All right. I think that they talked about schizophrenia or something but you're going to, I think with your husband's military, is that helping to cover some medical treatment?
Unfortunately, it hasn't. The challenge is that he's not Jason's biological father. And we've had a really difficult time getting the official disability so that he can have, state benefits or federal benefits. So unfortunately, Jason, he wasn't insured. I didn't have, any qualifying event at the time. I have him now officially on my personal insurance, but it's still a long-term goal to get him onto TRICARE. My husband will be retiring in about a year and a half. So if we can get everything, finalized with the disability, that's all TRICARE is waiting on.
Now he does have coverage on your insurance so that you can make sure he gets he's getting treatment.
Yes, sir. And that's been the biggest obstacle for Jason, was just that continuity of care and the expenses associated with it. And, him trying to navigate all of it with being, 19, 20 years old and the schizophrenia. But yes, sir, he is on it. And I did provide proof to his attorney, and I can show you anything you would need, but he's covered under Aetna now, under my care plan.
All right, I feel fairly comfortable with that. I don't know about you, Miss Ritchie. Sounds a little better to me. I don't think the complainant's in any trouble because I don't think she's even around. So where he would even know where she's at. And I mean, I can see where she was scared at one point. That if when you confront someone that's going through a psychotic episode, it is scary.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure, in fact, it sometimes probably is scary to you,
Yes.
And even when you recognize what's going on, it's a little bit scary. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and probably release him on a PR bond tomorrow. I'll let you try to get this one more day to get a hold of the complainant and tell her what's going on and why we're doing it. But I will release him by let's say 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Judge, and he still does have $1,000 cash surety bond on each of the misdemeanors. But I think this would be a big help for his parents to help him out. But Ms. Hobbs, he does still have the $1,000 cash surety bond on each of the misdemeanors.
Understood.
But I don't have jurisdiction on the misdemeanors. Those are not in my court. So
Right.
you'll have to work on those.
Yes, sir.
All right. But hopefully then by tomorrow evening, he'll be back home with you all.
Wonderful. And I understand he's got his medication since he's been incarcerated. So that's wonderful. And he already has prescriptions filled with me too.
All right. Well, you've been listening to us here. You understand what's going on there, Mr. Rios?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah, and you sound like you're very cognizant now of what's going on. You're not in the throes of any kind of psychotic episode at the present time, and you seem pretty competent to me.
Yes, sir, I feel more confident and more mentally stable.
All right. Okay, well, just, stay there with your parents, let this thing work out, listen to what your attorney says, work with your attorney, work with your parents, and everything will be okay. Okay, make sure you take those medications. That's going to be a condition of this PR bond, is also that I want you to make sure that you take those medications. If you stop taking the medications, then I would be forced to put you back in jail, okay?
Understood.
All right, very good. Okay, well then that'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
okay, let us, I guess your next case is is it Quinto?
Quinto, yes, Judge.
And this is another bond hearing?
Yes, Judge. I think I have all of the bond hearings this afternoon.
I think you do. All right, and this is another one that we talked about just a very short period of time ago. Okay, this is 2021-0001543. This defendant, Mr. Alejandro Toquinto, what is the bond presently set at?
I believe, Judge, it is 25,000 cash surety.
Was this one that was also revoked or something?
No, Judge, this has always been his bond.
Okay,
Actually, I'm not sure, Judge. Let me double check. I don't want to give you wrong
in
information.
jail. He's been in jail 89 days.
It sounds about right then, yes, Judge.
Now, this has a very, is there anybody, have you been able to get, this is another one that you were trying to get a hold of a complainant, but this one is going to be very difficult to get a hold of probably. Have you gotten a hold of this complainant?
No, Judge, we've run a better locates and we're waiting to see if those numbers are going to work for us.
All right, and I think we were doing some criminal history on defendant complainants both or something.
Yes, Judge, and the complainant does have some criminal history. 2018 unauthorized use of motor vehicle, that was dismissed. And then between 2011 and 2018, there were 4 criminal trespasses. And those were convictions, small amounts of time in jail. And then in 2009, it was a state jail theft, and he did 10 months in the state jail there. And then in 2007, there was a possession of marijuana, less than 50 pounds, and he did 4 TDC on that one.
That's the complainant or the defendant?
The complainant, Judge.
Now, the defendant has also done time for a TDC on a marijuana too, but he did a 2 TDC,
Yes, sir.
right, back in '02. So 2 people with kind of a little bit of a troublesome past. And the complainant alleged that this person, I don't know, there was a fight going on or something. Is this the one?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Downtown here around McGoffin and or street.
yes, Judge.
And so then the complainant approaches where the defendant was fighting with someone else. And then he alleges that, he said that the defendant then pulled a knife and then the complainant ran away. Is that about what happened? I can't, do you have more facts or anything?
Yes, Judge, that was pretty much it from my recollection.
Do you have any other facts there, Ms. Pages, that you want to add to this?
No, Judge, other than, it's alleged that he threatened the complainant with the knife. My client is denying that and has indicated that the complainant was drunk at the time. Judge, so if I may, Your Honor, he is 37 years old, and like I previously mentioned to you, he typically works as a painter. He does have 2 children. He is from El Paso and he's resided in El Paso all of his life. If released out on bond, he would be residing with his grandmother, Refugia Rodriguez. I did contact her and I did speak with her, and she verified that he is allowed to stay with her and would be living with her. Presently, he is unable to make this bond, and he has been incarcerated, I believe, since April on this, which is quite some time. And to date, the state has not located the complainant or made contact with the complainant. I don't foresee that there would be any type of issue between my client and the complainant at this point, Judge. So I am asking for a PR bond.
The complainant's going to go live with his grandmother in what part of town?
No, my client would be living with his grandmother. She lives on Marquita Lane, Judge. I'm not sure where that is. It's a 79915 zip code.
Yes, Mr. Toquinto, what part of town is that your grandmother lives in?
It's close to downtown.
It's around Copia?
I don't know where to copy.
Yeah, because 1-5 seems like it's a little, it's not in downtown, but it's not that far out either.
Yeah.
Headed out towards northeast, but
Close.
and you said, are you supporting your children?
Yes, sir.
But they're not living with you.
They're not living with me, but siempre los procuro.
How old are your children?
2 and 3.
2 and 3?
Yes.
And are they living with their mother, or who are they living with?
Yeah, with her mother.
But you've got a job lined up to be a painter?
Yeah, painter, and I go to the field.
To what?
Field.
Okay.
In the field.
Let me,
Fields? Is that what you're saying?
Come on.
In the fields? Is that what, I don't understand what he's saying, Judge.
Yeah, like field in la pizca.
Okay.
let me take this under advisement until maybe Tuesday. And we'll set it on our docket for Tuesday, and I will then see if the state's been able to contact the complainant, see if they've made any better things. And then at that point, if I'm satisfied, I might grant that bond then. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
So-
I will be in contact with you, Mr. Toquinho. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, and yeah, Michelle, make sure you set that for Tuesday, all right? Okay, the next one is Mr. Torres.
Judge, so on this one, Mr. Torres, and I'll wait for him to,
Yeah, now this one is one I've never heard before. So I don't have any facts and I don't have any information.
okay. Judge, on Mr. Torres, he does have an,
What's the amount of the bond?
well, on this drug charge, Judge, it's only $1,500 cash surety. But he does have an unfiled aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and the bond on that is a $20,000 cash surety.
That's not indicted yet.
Correct. And the state is working on indicting him. Ms. Ritchie contacted intake and they are working on it, but it does have to go through the grand jury and all that. So it will be a while before that happens.
Okay. So you want me to address both I probably not got a lot of problems with the under 1 gram case, but then the aggravated assault, that's a different story.
Right. So yes, Judge, and I don't believe Mr. Torres can, obviously, the $20,000 cash surety bond is the bigger bond. And so that's the one that he would have a hard time making. And so I would like for the court to, if possible, address both of them.
All right. Has he had a bond hearing with the jail magistrates? How long has he been in jail?
I'm not sure, Judge. Let me look.
87 days, Judge.
87 days. They probably had a bond hearing.
Right, Judge. And so originally it was, I think, a PR bond, and then he picks up this possession case. So it's one of those where it's revoked.
Oh, so he was out on the ag assault. They PR'd the ag assault,
I
And-
believe so, Judge.
then he picked up the drug charge, and then they upped that bond. Does that look like, is that what you're also seeing, Ms. Ritchie?
I can't see anything on the bonds, Judge, but the ag assault did occur before the possession, so that would make sense to me.
All right.
Can I say something? I did post bond on the assault. I paid $2,000 to get out, Your Honor. I was working and everything.
Okay, so the ag assault, you posted a bond on that one.
Yes, sir. And I was reporting and everything every week.
I'm showing Judge a 20,000 cash surety on that again, so.
Do you know if? So he said he must have made a bond. Maybe it was a split bond. I don't know.
I had
And
paid-
PR.
I had paid the 10% off the 20, and then I violated it by catching this possession.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go over the alleged facts first in the ag assault. What are the facts of that case, Ms. Ritchie, from your standpoint?
Yes, Your Honor. So this occurred on February 2nd of this year at the Love's Truck Stop in Anthony. It appeared that I believe that the CW was one of the employees of the truck stop. The defendant entered into the business and told her that he had some money and called her a bitch. He then had a knife in one hand and a hammer in the other. He pointed the knife at her and made a gesture like he was going to come towards her. He then left the business, picked a fight with a witness that I believe was standing outside, a verbal fight. And then the complainant then called 911 and they found him in the area and conducted a traffic stop. And she ended up positively identifying him later on.
He used allegedly what? A hammer and what?
And a knife?
He threatened her with a hammer and a knife.
Yes, sir.
I never stepped in the business.
Hold on, Mr. Torres. Do not speak unless I ask you to speak, please.
Does it say in the report, Ms. Ritchie, what provoked this threat?
No, Judge, I think it was just kind of a random thing.
He walks in, calls her a name, and then threatens her with a knife and a hammer. Walks out, gets in a verbal argument with someone else, then leaves, and the police pick him up at some point, bring him back, and she identifies him as the person that did this.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's his criminal history?
Well, Judge, he has a 43-page rap sheet, quite a few possessions.
Well, how many times has he been to prison?
It's a little unclear from the rap sheet, but let me see. At least 4 or 5 times, Judge. It goes back all the way to the 80s.
Well, then he could be habitualized.
Yes, sir.
What kind of offenses has he gone to prison before for violent offenses?
Yes, Judge, most of them are. They're either violent or possession cases. There's some, I don't want to say all of it on live, Judge, but there's some sexual offenses, robbery, burglary, possession of firearms, ag assaults on public servants, ag assaults with deadly weapon.
All right. I don't know if I even want to go into the drug charge. Okay. All right. So what else did you want to say on his behalf, Ms. Pages?
Yes, Judge. Well, first of all, I guess if the rap sheet, I know Mr. Torres has a common name and sometimes DOBs may be different. So if the state can just verify that that is in fact him in the future, just to double check, because I only have, I don't have that type of information, obviously, on Mr. Torres, but he also goes by Sandoval, Daniel Sandoval. So if the state can just verify, just for my sakes as well, for my client. And then, let me look at my notes, Judge.
Well, I'm most specifically interested in the sexual assault case, if there was something along those lines that he went to prison for. How long did he go on that?
Let me pull that back up, Judge. And I did verify the rap sheet does show the correct date of birth, and it does show his AKA name as Sandoval. This rape charge, there was one in 1995, one in 2003, and one in 1983. And I can't tell the prison time on a couple of these, but it looks like at least 2 years on one of them. And this was out of California.
All right. Well, okay. What's your request on the bond then, Ms. Pages?
Judge, so I, just really quick, just to reiterate a little bit of information on my client. He does have a GED. He did do a semester of college in Long Beach. He has been living in El Paso since 2014. He does have 4 grown children, and he works construction. He does go to Home Depot, where he obtains daily construction jobs. And he also sometimes works with his brother, who owns Oasis Roofing, and helps him with that. If released out on bond, Judge, he would be going to Inspira Hotel, where he would be residing. He is unable to make bond, Judge, so at this point I am asking for a PR bond.
All right. And Ms. Ritchie, your position?
Judge, we're opposed to any sort of bond, PR bond or bond reduction, just based on his history, Judge. He doesn't have a good track record. They're violent offenses, and he has no stable place to live other than a hotel. So I couldn't vouch that the community would be safe here.
Well, I don't recall very often in granting PR bonds to defendants with habitual offenses or they could be habitualized, and particularly on violent offenses. And then the one here is also an alleged violent offense. I'm respectfully declining or denying your motion for a PR bond, and I'm not going to reduce it any. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. All right. And I guess, is that all of your cases for today, I believe, Ms. Pages?
That is, Judge. I believe that was my last one. Mr. Torres, I will.
We have finally Mr. Tanaka.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
You may.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good weekend. All right. You too.
Bye.
Allegedly, I'm on Tanaka.
And Judge,
Tanaka.
may I be
Yes.
excused as well?
Okay, well, let's see. I'm trying to figure out, well, you could be. Oh, this isn't your case. This is going to be Mr. Willard's case?
Yeah, Judge,
Correct.
it's the Border Protection Unit, and it's Will's case. I'm here for him today, and I wouldn't let her go. I mean, I've been
Well-
staying all this time. She can
Well, that's
stay
right. You've
longer.
been here the whole time, but she's now done though. You still
Yeah,
have,
okay. I don't want to be retaliated against. I'd let her go.
okay, there we go. You're free to go, Ms. Ritchie. Have a nice week. We'll maybe see you soon. So. all
Okay,
right.
thank you both. Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. This is a status hearing. Who is his attorney at the present time?
That's a concern. I don't see one of record.
Oh, that's
Judge. The
right.
Last one.
He doesn't
Well-
have one, Judge.
Yeah.
That's right. He said he was going to hire the Underwood firm. And did you ever hire them, Mr. Tanaka?
No, I did not, but I think we had said if I couldn't hire him within that week, I was supposed to get appointed to Richard Kaufman.
Huffman, yes. So I'm going to appoint Mr. Huffman then to represent you, okay? I think-
Judge, I actually have to check on the list because if I don't appoint right then, the list is constantly changing.
Oh, because I thought we appointed Mr. Huffman all the way back in February.
I think I didn't because we were gonna give him a little bit more time to hire.
Because he wanted to hire an attorney, and that's what he said he wanted to do. So I wanted to give him time to hire an attorney. And I said, then if he didn't get an attorney hired, we would have to appoint one to represent him.
Correct, Judge.
Yeah, I don't see any order of appointment since you allowed, was it Dunham to withdraw? Right.
Right. Well, we've got to get you an attorney, whether it's Mr. Huffman or someone else. You definitely need representation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've been trying to hire an attorney all this time?
Yeah, I've been trying, but things didn't go as planned. We couldn't get
I
it.
know you've been trying hard to get an attorney, and I gave you as much time as I can possibly give you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Attorney, I just, I don't want you out without an attorney any further. We're going to appoint someone here this afternoon. Like I said, if it's not Mr. Huffman, it'll be someone. These are fairly serious charges overall. Well, but there's a lot.
They're principally drug-related charges, except for one ag-assault deadly weapon.
Right, there's a lot of charges. That's the issue. There's a number of cases.
And then there's prior history, because every one of the indictments, as I went through them, have about 7 prior felony convictions, of which they break down to 2 separate dates that he pled out on them. So it's technically 2 prior felonies. So this gentleman is unfortunately habitualized.
Right. So we got habitual indictment. What's the attorneys? Who's up next?
I have public defenders, Judge, and they're like, there's 10 of them, so I can't even skip a public defender. It's all public defender.
Well,
Has he had a public defender before? Because if one's had to get off the case before because of a conflict, they can't come back on, I don't think.
On this particular case, it was just Teresa Caballero and Mr. Dunham.
Neither of which are PD.
no.
But he also has 2017 0D06662, a 2018 0D02207, a 2019 0D02494, and 2018 0D02463. It's kind of a complicated situation. So I don't know. You might inquire whether he's ever had a public defender, actually public defender, representing him.
Judge, I do have a case pending in Husband County, and on that case, they gave me Scott Foster. So I don't know if you could. I have Scott Foster on the case over there. He was appointed.
Okay. Oh, okay. I know Mr. Foster. Let's
Is
see.
he on your roll here still? I'm sure he is.
Well, I don't know. The problem is that you've got a list, and it said that everybody up was the public defenders. They're very competent lawyers over there. Let me start with the public defender, and because that's who is next up. And then we'll see if they have a conflict. I want to know right away if there's a conflict that they have or that you have with them. And I want to bring it back. I want to bring you back next week, because I want to know, you got to have some representation, and some serious representation right away. I want your cases to be able to move forward. They can't move forward without an attorney. So we'll appoint the public defender, tell them to get over there to see him right away, and we'll see what we can see. And then, but I want him brought back next Thursday so we can make sure what's going on. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I believe
Thank
that
you, Your Honor.
concludes today's docket, does it not? We did get done by 5, but barely.
Yes, sir.
It was a little more complex than we thought it
But
was.
we had a good time, right?
Yes, we can go off live though.